This is the Crookedrivercast, where Rob and Tom, talk about what we found interesting last week in the great state of Ohio. This is show 71 for the week of August 24th, 2026. Let's see what we got for this week. Get right into it. In the morning, Tom.
In the morning.
Lots to do today. Lots to do today.
Lots to do
today on the show. Did a lot last week. Survived Cedar Point. No limbs were chopped off. Nobody fell out of any coasters or drowned at the water park. How about you?
Well, I had a good Friday, at least. That was yesterday.
Oh.
You know, it was funny. It started with me looking for raw milk. How can I buy raw milk around me, right?
It's how everybody starts their Fridays.
Oh, that started earlier this week, and it was interesting because I found out how to buy raw milk in Ohio.
You are the devil.
Yeah. Anyways, if anybody's interested, check out. There's two sources I used: getrawmilk.com and realmilk.com. So I used getrawmilk.com, and you just type in your location and it gives you a place where you can get it.
So why raw milk?
It's good for your gut biome. Once it's pasteurized, they take out all the good stuff. And it's illegal to sell because there's no regulation on it. Are you kidding me?
How they let this go on so long?
It's just got a lot more goodness.
It's illegal to sell. Are you promoting illegal substance on the show, Tom?
No. So in Ohio, it's illegal to buy, right? In the grocery store or straight from the farm. You can't go to the farm. Some farms might sell it as pet milk. That's how some get around it. I'm not sure about that in Ohio, but so in Ohio, as long as you're the owner of a farm, you could drink raw milk, right?
Sure.
So they allow them to sell shares of the farm, and then you can buy raw milk. So basically, for this farm here, local farm, not local, I think they're in Amish country. Hang on one second. Anyways, had to get something out of my throat there. Good. Anyways, here in Ohio, if you own a share of a farm, you can get raw milk from that farm. For now. I think it's been like that for a long time. I don't think it's going to change. Anyways, this farm in Kime Family Herd Share, it's called. You can find that on ohiorawmilk.com.
Until we get a doctor in the governor's house.
Yeah.
And then she's going to go, for sure.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to
does not mix with vodka like they say it would. You need pasteurized milk to get the proper mix for your White Russian.
That vodka won't have the same impact.
Exactly. Anyways, the enzymes in the raw milk break down the vodka.
Right. It's too
science.
Healthy.
Science.
We need you a little weak.
Mm-hmm. Weak and dumb.
So anyways, it works like this. You buy like a $30 share. That's the entry fee. And then you subscribe to it like a monthly fee. And it basically comes to like about a $7.50 a half gallon. Which isn't that much more than like organic grass-fed milk.
Do you just drink it straight, or do you like mix it with things? Or I have a problem. I have a problem anymore the last 20 years probably of just drinking straight white milk.
Yeah, I don't do it.
Kind of grosses me out.
But I would probably have like a small glass every day just for the benefits of it.
Now, mix chocolate with it, I can drink it all day long.
I don't think the chocolate would hurt it.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just like, why? Make it a little bit brown and make it taste like chocolate, and it's fine. But just regular white milk makes me occasionally make me gag, actually. It's weird.
Really?
No, yeah, and this just happened like when I was a kid. I drank it all the time.
I don't really drink it like every day, but I would if we had raw milk. Just like probably like a glass
Does it taste different?
From what I understand, it doesn't. It does like if it's a week old, it starts getting sour. But it's still healthy to drink. It just starts getting a sour taste to it.
Oh, okay.
If it's, they say it lasts about a week in a refrigerator. Where I think it tastes the same, probably better. As far as like, it's probably a little bit. I would think it's a little. I don't know if it's thicker.
Well, it's going to be thicker. Well, it depends on what you drink normally out of the store.
Well, we drink whole milk, right? Okay. So it should be about the same. But they also this farm also sells whole yogurt, raw yogurt too. So that's like, I do have yogurt a couple times a week with blueberries or strawberries or something like that. So
it's a staple in our house.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't eat much of it, but
well, you know what? It's got protein, and it kind of, if you have it, like for me, it's the protein and the I'll add some berries to it, which I don't typically eat by themselves, but with that I will, and it kind of sustains me better than like a small, like.
Yeah, I've seen the girls eat they have like yogurt treats where you have like little Oreo cookies that'll mix with it, as like a treat. But they also have one where they'll mix oats, berries.
Yeah, I don't do the oats thing, but
it's
the
a little
berries,
more meat to the, I guess.
Yeah, well, it has a lot of satiety, which keeps you full for a while.
Whoa, word of the day.
Yeah, I think that's the word.
I think I know what you're talking about. To sustain you a little bit longer.
Yeah, you have that full feeling. So we did that yesterday.
Bill O'Reilly for a second there.
So we took a ride, and what they do is they deliver it to different areas, and they deliver it to like your own locker, basically.
The milkman.
The milkman, yeah. Once a week they make a delivery, and you can you just pick it up once a week, and it's like there's one about, for me it's like about 2 miles. For you, it's about a mile. It's pretty close there, near us. And we decided to visit the farm that actually stores the milk for them, because they're Amish people that do this. So there's another farm that raises beef and chickens and turkeys. And they store the milk for them, and they do the deliveries for them.
Okay.
And so we went to that farm to see that, and we picked up some grass-fed and grass-finished beef straight from the farm, which was really cool. And we got some. They got pork there that's raised in the woods and not raised in a pen. And they for doing this for the Amish, they ask you to buy like one item a month to deliver the milk,
to make it worth it. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause this is like a really kind of like, we went there. It's like, man, it's like they're hippies, and it's like a really poor looking farm. But they're doing everything right. Like it sounds like it's very regenerative.
Yeah, sustainability.
Yeah, sustainability. Like they put the cows on pasture, then they bring the chickens in, and then they move the cows, and then they're on 30 acres, and they leased 100 acres where they put the cows. Sometimes they don't move the chickens there because they put a special kind of they grow a special grass. I mean, now we're getting into like the technical parts of it, so I don't understand all of it. But pretty cool place.
That sounds really cool. Yeah, especially the beef part. I've been kind of wondering. I'm trying not to, because I've used Crowd Cow. We talked about this for quite a few years since COVID. Basically, I couldn't find it. It was hard, beef, and people were hoarding stuff, whatever.
Right, right.
I wanted to fill my freezer, and so I just started. Month after month, we get steaks, and they're really good. They're pricey, but actually, you go into a butcher shop, and they're basically the same price.
Well,
a little bit less at the butcher.
The steaks here, they look pretty nice. They're grass fed and finished. They don't finish them on grain, and they are expensive. A steak, like a nice sirloin steak, was like $26, right? Or a New York strip, I should say.
For how many ounces?
I would
probably 12. Right?
Yeah, it's under a pound. It's a nice cut. It's not. I would like it thicker, but it's a nice cut.
If it's 12 ounces around that's what I'm getting at Crowd Cow for $23.
Oh, the prices were very similar to Crowd Cow, because I subscribed to Crowd Cow. I did the meat box. They got all woke, so I canceled that. And you know what? A lot of
meat
the
box cow. Yeah, I looked at that for a minute.
the
It's cool, but they got woke.
they got woke,
They
man.
went broke.
Yeah, I think so, because I think they started kind of getting funny online.
Yeah,
like begging for people to come back. But anyways, it's the prices are similar. And when I went there yesterday, you know what? I forget the name of the farm. I just remember the raw milk farm, not the farm that does this. So I'll make sure the webmaster puts a link there to it.
Yes, thank you, webmaster.
Anyways, we went there, and they just have like old refrigerators, freezers filled with beef and pork and chicken and stuff. And they had a deal going. You spend $100, you get $20 off.
Oh,
you spend $200, you get $40.
On beef, yeah, that's you can trip over $100 in beef.
Well, it was basically 4 steaks, right?
Yeah, right.
Four nice steaks, but $20 off. Now it's $80, and I was like,
a free steak almost.
Yeah, pretty
close.
Yeah, and but I'm kind of okay with that. So we bought a bunch of they make a bunch of like bratwurst and Italian sausage with the pasture raised pigs and stuff. So
because I'm going to a small butcher shop in the Cleveland-ish area. I think it might be Cleveland. Actually, it is the city of Cleveland. It's over by a customer of mine, so I go there frequently. So occasionally I'll stop there. And one of the reasons I like Crowd Cow, but I know there's something with when they put them in those, like especially ground meat, from what I understand, and I've tried to look into it, and I'm not sure how much this goes on or how true it is or whatever. But I'm thinking there's something they put in there, a liquid. There's a couple things I'm noticing. A liquid to help preserve it, maybe freeze it better so it doesn't stick to the plastic. Ground meat comes in little squares.
Right.
One of the good things about getting it from them, it's frozen when you get it. It's prepackaged, individual frozen. You don't have to do anything to it. So it's kind of nice. But what I notice, I'll buy 6 pounds of 3 or 6 pounds of ground meat from the store, or use 3 or 6 pounds of ground meat from Crowd Cow, and there's less grease. Is it grease? Is it water?
It's water. It steams for a long time.
So
you're cooking it?
Yeah. So am I getting out of that 1 pound block? How much of it is water?
I don't know. To me, I don't get much different from a store either. Especially the prepackaged stuff. Like if you get, if I go to the butcher counter and I ask for like a couple of pounds of ground
that's what
beef,
I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's probably a little bit drier. I don't know if they add any of that. I don't know if it comes from like freezing and then refreezing.
I saw an article somewhere that I glanced through that said that they add something to it to keep it, I think, from sticking maybe, or something to that effect. And it's not, that wouldn't be unheard of. They do this with cheese. Shredded cheese has an anti-caking or thing on it.
Yeah, so you don't really want to have that all the time.
Yeah, it's really not. And shredded cheese is way better. You can even taste the difference. But I've noticed that when I made burgers, I get more burgers. I'm getting a few more burgers, a couple. Not talking a tremendous amount. So I'm wondering if part of that pound is water.
I would think so.
But also, yeah, go ahead.
Well,
got to be. I mean, it's very watery when you pull it out.
I agree. And there's a chef I watch on YouTube. The guy's I would say close to 70. He's like a world-class chef. And he's like, I don't know what's going on with today's ground beef, but there's so much water in it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just the processing of it. Or they're adding something to those.
Because also when you get the little squares from the grocery store, your local grocery store, it's very similar to Crowd Cow.
Yeah, that's how we usually get it.
That's exactly the same thing. If you're getting, if you're going to get Crowd Cow, they just freeze it for you. And we get those occasionally too, and it's the same thing. It's like I don't know. I don't think ground meat out of the counter. It's anyway. But also, what I also wanted to point out too is even if you go to your local butcher shop, it doesn't mean they're getting it from the cow in Amish country.
No,
it's very possible they were getting it from one of there's 3 or 4 main processors, and I know it because when my parents had a store and a meat stand at the Eastside Market, and we would buy tubes of coarse ground meat, and then we grind it. You usually grind meat 2 or 3 times if it's coming off of the actual cow. So we'd buy coarse and then regrind it into fine and then serve it. But we'd also buy tenderloins full, prepackaged, and then we'd slice. You know what I mean? So there was a couple in the market that actually got quarter cows.
Right.
Off the hook, off the truck. There was only a couple. Almost everybody else bought it from like IBC or Seaway or one of those kind of places. Just a mass produced. So that's the other thing. I'm like, okay, I'm going to a local store, but is it? I mean, they have a sign that says all local, but do I trust it?
I would trust the local butcher shop. I don't know which one you're talking about, but I've been to the Rail, and I think it's called the Rail or something like that. Anyways, that butcher shop, you talk to the butcher, they're like, because we're like, hey, do you have any prime steaks? And he's like, we don't really carry prime. We carry local cuts of beef, but we consider these to be like, they don't carry the USDA prime.
Right. They probably pre-selected themselves. Oh, this is a prime. This is not prime. And
they can,
as they cut it probably.
He's like, this is our section. We were looking for a ribeye, and it was fantastic. We bought it, and he's like, this is what we would consider prime cuts. And they were fantastic. And I believe him that he gets it local.
Yeah, I'm sure most do, but I don't know. It's at least if you're going to a farm, the little more connection is a little less. And the place I get it from, it's been great. We get it from. So I think it's called K&K Market or something.
Okay.
And a little strip center in a strip center down there in Cleveland. So, I don't know. That's cool. I want to check that out because I've been trying to get closer to the farmer, as close as you can. If it's not too far away, it's even better.
Yeah, I'd say check into this place.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because they do sell a quarter cows up to full cow. So you could, if you got a big family, you could fill your freezer for the year.
Yeah, that's what we were looking for originally, and we ended up filling it, but with mostly strips and fillets.
Oh, I think they even sell like eighth of a cow. So you can be pretty selective on how much you buy. And I think there was even one like best cuts cow. So if you don't want all the stuff that you don't really know what to do with, like I'm kind of into like trying different things. So I don't mind. I don't know if there's a cut I wouldn't try.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons I wanted to look at that, was to get more into things we don't normally do. Sirloin or round steaks, all that kind of stuff that we generally don't touch because, well, if I'm going to eat a steak, I usually want a fillet or a strip.
Right.
Those are my two go-tos. And my kids are so freaking spoiled now that the strip steak is becoming too tough for them because they eat too many fillets.
The ribeye is the thing for me. Fillets don't have enough flavor unless you really cook it or stuff it.
Yeah.
But ribeyes for me are just like, just a magic on the grill, especially. But you know what? We stopped at on the way there, we stopped at a winery I want to recommend to people. It's called Bent's Ladder. It's a cidery and winery. And they also have a farmer's market there.
Oh, like the farmer's market. It's farmer's market season.
I forget the name of the farmer's market, but they have, it's an indoor, it's a grocery store. We didn't go inside, but it's like their own, their farm, everything's grown there. And it's 125 acres that they're on, which is, it's beautiful, beautiful views. It's near Doylestown.
Oh, wow.
That was called Bent Ladder. And then we went to the farm that we were talking about. And then we stopped at a place called Roar.
You had quite a day.
Wine room. Roar. It was spelled ROHR. And this guy makes his own wine there. And the wine was okay. But it's in Massillon. We stopped there. All they're talking about is football.
Oh, preseason or something?
No, Massillon football, high school football.
Football in Massillon is pretty big. They've had good teams.
Remember we had that story last year.
That's right. Yeah, that's it too. That's the logistics.
So it's huge over there, man.
Well, yeah, because that was the team that went to a team from KC or Kansas City or something came and played. That's when they got. Is that the pepper spray one?
Yeah,
the pepper spray kids.
That's
right. Because they had more black people, so the cops decided to spray that team.
Yeah, right.
Instead of just.
Well, we talked to the
black cop decided to spray. That was the other thing.
We were talking to the owner because we were just overhearing what they're talking about, and all they're talking about is football. And then we looked up who Massillon's playing. They're playing Glenville.
Oh, watch out for the pepper spray.
And they're called the Tar Blooders. That's the name. Isn't that weird?
For who? For Massillon?
Glenville.
The Tar Mutters?
Tar Blooders.
What?
Yeah, isn't that a weird name? Yeah, I know.
It's probably some, I don't know.
I don't understand what that means, but that's a very racially it's all black neighborhood, right?
Yeah, basically. Yes.
So like wouldn't you want to avoid, wasn't like a racial slur for black people like tar babies? Like, wouldn't you want to?
But what? Why would that even stick out to you when every piece of black culture music, let's just say rap, mainly rap, is filled with the most vile term ever said to a black person or an African or whatever in their life, and they spew it constantly. So why would that matter? I would guarantee that's from some sort of song or something from, who knows? I don't know. Anyway. Wow, we've gone off the rails. Now we're on football and race relations.
So they were like, it's funny because they take it seriously over there, man.
Oh yeah,
that they're bringing in people that don't live in Massillon,
yes,
and they think even teams like Glenville do the same thing.
Yes,
they give them fake addresses and anyways,
Eds and
I don't want to get into it too much.
That's what the Catholic schools do too.
Yeah, I bet they do.
Totally. Eds and St. Ignatius, they do it.
But at least those are private schools.
Oh, sure. Yeah, they're getting scholarships. You're getting a $15,000, $20,000 a year scholarship. It's like college scholarship basically at that level.
Right.
Not quite the same at Glenville. But,
right. No.
I mean, not too far away from each other.
Probably not the same in Massillon either.
Much closer to each other and a completely different, weird. So,
and then we stopped at
Jeez, what didn't you guys do?
Well, I've mentioned this on the show. That's why I'm bringing it up. And we have we have a listener that lives out there. I was in Norton.
Oh, right.
And stopped at the Funky Truckeria, which was fantastic. It's a place that started as a taco truck.
Oh, okay.
And they got a little strip center type of little restaurant with a nice patio. It's actually kind of set up pretty cool. Anyways, gourmet style tacos. They're amazing. I had one of my tacos was a swordfish taco, which was fantastic.
Interesting.
Yeah, they had some their menu was really pretty cool.
On that note, we checked out Condado Tacos.
Oh, never heard of that.
Well, they opened up a place right over by us, and then we went out to Cedar Point. There was one out in Westlake by Crocker Park. So on the way out, we stopped for lunch and then kept going to Cedar Point. It's very similar to Barrio.
Oh, okay.
Very similar to Barrio. It's kind of those kind of tacos, but they had I had a brisket taco and then pulled pork Korean barbecue or something. It was great.
Very, very excellent. I had something I've never even heard of before there. They had a special for street corn. It was like corn on the cob, but it was fried with queso sauce on it and some green onions and other things.
Hello.
That was like crack.
Yeah, I could see. Deep fried queso corn street corn itself is like crack, but
yeah.
Were you going to deep fry it and put queso on it?
Yeah, it was fantastic.
That's what I'm saying to that. That gets a little kid yay for that for sure. Anyway, Carrie, is that all? Did you go anywhere else?
I went on a little too long. We hung on to the raw milk and beef way longer than I thought we would have.
Well, let's get into something we've talked about a couple times on the show. We got our main topic today. We're going to be talking about data centers. But this little story popped up, and I brought it into my attention of my 16-year-old daughter. And I thought her reaction to this story, that's not data centers, but it's kind of related. You'll see. I think we mentioned this a year ago on the show. Oh, yeah, we could say that now. And I think the time is here, Tom. It's time Delivery
Well,
drone.
I am fascinated by this story. Amazon's Prime Air drone delivery is finally coming to Cleveland, although the company has not announced exactly when it will get here or what part of the city the service will be available in. Prime members will get free drone delivery on orders of $50 or more. Smaller orders carry a small fee. Amazon says that packages weighing less than 5 pounds can arrive on the same day you order them. From the Pony Express in 1860 to drone delivery in 2026.
Can you imagine their faces if they could see us now?
What a time to be alive.
Happening?
It really is incredible. I can't wait to see the first package dropped off at my house by a drone.
Can't wait. Can't wait. So what do you think? I showed this to my 16-year-old daughter. What do you think her reaction was?
I think she thinks it's terrible.
Well, Dad, can't you just shoot it?
I was going to say, that was my first reaction. I would call it Amazon Prime Target Day.
Target Day. Moving Target Day.
And yeah, that was my first thought.
I got one more quick one. What do you got? You got anything you want?
I'm thinking on the level of a 15-year-old.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, nowadays, and it's this will really, we may get into a little bit of this when we talking about data centers, because it's to me, it was one of the things I kind of was like, oh, and I'm seeing more and more of they're not all that hip to some of this stuff. But you got anything you want to touch on before?
You know what? We'll throw links on the website. There is a new flu vaccine for people 50 and over, and it's an mRNA flu vaccine, and it's called, they're calling it, let's see, mFlusiva by Moderna. And just keep an eye out for it. You might want to check it out. It got approved by the FDA. They were kind of hesitating. Yeah, they were hesitating, but some people are blaming Kennedy for making them hesitate. Anyways, it went through all its trials and everything. This is, at least it wasn't like sped through. It sounds like they kind of did this one the right way. And they're not forcing you to take it. So,
yeah, I don't think anything mRNA is, none of it's good. So I'm not touching any of it. I think it's all trash.
Well, I got it. Yeah, here. Okay, so you say that. Now there's something else. mRNA. It's in the third trial. It's in the final stages before approval, and there's a cancer vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
And that sounds very promising.
I'd like to look into it, because from listening to the guy, what's his name now? Doctor, the guy, he was one of the guys on the patent. He's one of the guys who invented it.
Yeah, Malone.
Malone.
Yeah,
he said the biggest issue they've had for all the years was where these spike proteins. Maybe this is specific to COVID, but they always had a problem like keeping the mRNA vaccine around the injection site, and they couldn't keep it from spreading around the body and blah, blah, blah. So
right. So like part of the problem was it was getting into people's hearts, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So that was causing people to
inflammation and clots.
I forget what that is called. But anyway, so that was part of the problem with the COVID. But this is kind of interesting, because I mean, look at it this way. So you have cancer, you battle it. And, when they take a biopsy, they pull out some of those cells. And so what they can do is basically program the vaccine. They're calling it a vaccine, which is kind of weird. But anyways, they program the vaccine to go after this kind of cell. So it doesn't sound like it matters too much. It kind of has to go throughout your body.
Yeah. Okay.
And so it's not like you're going to get a vaccine before you have cancer. Maybe if you're like somebody that has like a very strong a set of genes that can do that, but it's really for like if you got cancer and you battled it, now they can give you this shot that's tailored to you, and it helps it from coming back.
Yeah,
because how many times do you hear that? Like, oh, I beat cancer, and then like a handful of years later, it comes back.
You go into remission occasionally. You expect it to come back, and I'm open for it. I just right now, to me, it has a very bad reputation, so they're going to have to
of course,
prove that.
Well, I think the worst thing was that they kind of pulled something out of their butts without going through all the trials, and then I don't even care they did that as much as like just, everybody else getting this weird reaction of like, you have to get it. Like you can't come to work. You can't go to school. You can't pick your ass out in the field.
Yeah, that was always the issue. And the fact that when they did the trials, they hid a lot of the results and omitted things. And anyway.
Right. Yeah. It was more government and just big pharma. Big pharma. And that's the one thing about we're going to link these articles. So the ones from Newsweek about the cancer vaccine, that one's pretty thorough. Everybody should read it if they're into that. The other one's from Fox about the flu vaccine, and the big pharma was pressuring FDA.
I imagine, yes,
because they didn't really want to go forward. So
write us a blank check, please. Can you please write us a blank check? We need a blank check. Give us money before we give you a product. Yes, I would want that too. Sounds like a great idea.
I'm not getting the flu vaccine regardless, so I wouldn't get that. But the cancer research, the so-called cancer vaccine is interesting. And you know what, Moderna and Merck are the two that are working on that, and their stocks. When the news came out of the trial, the final trial or final stage trial, late stage trial, when the news came out, their stocks jumped up 117%.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that'll do it. I mean, that'll do it. That's always been one of the arguments that they don't want to cure cancer because they make more money off of it, off of treating you. Then.
Well, that's always been in the that's in this article about like, hey, this is going to change cancer treatment because of the money.
Right.
The medical field would lose a lot of money. The hospitals with all the MRIs and everything, that testing you do, and
I would say whoever is the CEO of that company needs to do a lot more driving, a lot less flying. Make sure somebody tastes your food first, please.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's good. I mean, we'll hope that's true. I hope it,
Yeah, as far as like government goes in, I think Trump wants this to be approved while he's in.
Of course, because that's why I saw the something, maybe it was on X or YouTube or something. Trump cures cancer.
Yeah, because didn't Biden say something like that?
He was going to.
Yeah.
He's currently battling stage 4 for the last 5 years.
Oh, I think he's kind of on the tail end of his life.
I don't know.
What was that?
I don't know. How long can you have stage 4 cancer? I guess it depends. But it seems like that's like. Anywho, not getting into that. Let's keep going. Moving forward. Today's topic. Let's talk about today's topic. It's one we've talked about before. It's one that when we're done talking about this topic, you can go check out all the stuff that we've put up and looked at crookedrivercast.com. Check out the blog. Post drops when this episode posts every Monday morning. We've talked about data centers many times before, so we figured we'd take a little deep dive into it, start looking at maybe a little more thoroughly, look at different lenses, all the other stuff. And then this video, mainly starting from the video that we're going to really touch on later, from this guy, Ben Jordan, that we did what did he do? I forgot already. Anyway, whatever. We had touched on him on a topic a few weeks ago. Crap, now I can't remember. But anyway, so data centers. What do you think about data centers, Tom? What's your opinion on data centers?
I don't like them.
Okay. It's very controversial now. It is, and it's actually, if you talk to somebody about data center, what do you think is their first complaint? Or what have you seen?
I think the first complaint I hear is about energy costs.
Yeah, electric bills.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to start. So one of the big things you're hearing over and over again is the taxing of the electric grid. The demand is outweighing supply. And I've heard this. We talked about it on the show. I've heard projects in the Columbus area being postponed indefinitely because AEP doesn't have the connections. They can't hook you up. Your bill's going up, and it's because of data centers. On and on and on. So let's start with that, because that's one of the first topics everybody's complaining on, because it hits you're looking at your electric bill go up month after month. So let's listen to this is WBNS TV 10 out of Columbus. This is kind of we'll just get started with this little background here on what's going on in Ohio.
Well, when it comes to the percentage of data centers built across the country in a year, Columbus now ranks number 1 here in Central Ohio, according to JLL, a national global real estate company.
And all those data centers require water and power. And there are debates across the country about what impacts data centers will have on water supplies and the cost of electricity. 10 TV reporter Kevin Landers takes a closer look at the impacts here in Central Ohio.
Licking County is Central Ohio's hub for data center construction. Inside, these massive buildings house the technology that power our digital world, from AI technology to Bitcoin transactions. There are at least 120 data centers in the Columbus area. These massive warehouses require millions of gallons of water to cool them. Joe Davis is a data center specialist for JLL.
We've seen trends towards much lower water usage. There's been a few projects up in the New Albany submarket that use as much water as like an office building would.
But there remain concerns. Researchers at the University of California, Riverside estimate that each 100-word AI prompt consumes approximately 519 milliliters of water, which is roughly 1 bottle of water. While there are reports of data centers exasperating water supplies in other parts of the country, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources believes Central Ohio's aquifers can handle the growth here. Quote, in Central Ohio, there are areas endowed with substantial groundwater resources that could support additional growth, be it from data centers or any other high-capacity groundwater
Let's see how much we have down there.
The use of groundwater in Central Ohio is a constitutionally protected property right. ODNR has the authority to investigate conflicts between groundwater users.
I'm not concerned about like dips in the water supply on folks' homes.
Data centers rely on air cooling, which is water intensive, or liquid cooling systems, which are more efficient. Closed loop cooling can cut freshwater use by up to 70% by reusing water. Davis says data center operators are also looking at conserving energy use as well.
Normally, data centers get power from the grid. And now we're seeing these behind the meter where the company actually owns and generates their own power.
He says that takes pressure off the electrical grid.
That's an emerging trend. We think we're going to continue to see it, partially because of the grid constraints that are just happening across the market.
And it's a concern. U.S. data centers used about 4.4% of the nation's electricity in 2023, and their share is expected to double or come close to tripling by 2028. As for the demands on water, ODNR tells 10 TV it will be monitoring water use closely and ensure withdrawals do not unreasonably affect other users. Kevin Landers, 10 TV News.
How about we don't push the aquifers all the way to their limit? Okay, that's water, but electricity is an issue. I think we've railed on it again. I said over and over again, I think on this show, but I'm not sure it's as bad of an issue as it used to be. My little bit of digging I've seen or gotten is the PUCO. That's the Regulatory Commission for Ohio, and AEP have been going round and round with trying to get tariffs put in place, and they've been pretty successful. It's gone. There's a couple groups. So there's PUCO and there's AEP. So PUCO is the regulatory, AEP is the power company in the Columbus market, and they have proposed tariffs on new data centers, like rules, fees, to help get some of this money back, but also help pay for some of the infrastructure studying stuff. And now they want to have studies on what the draw is going to do on the community, and so then you have the where is it at? Ohio Manufacturers Association, OMA, I think it is. They've got filed a lawsuit against these tariffs, saying that they're going to stunt, development and this and that. So recently, I think as of recently as April, the Ohio Supreme Court basically has said that you can go ahead with these tariffs. And what are some of these tariffs? So it's called the Scheduled DCT. I think it's Data Center Tariff. Scheduled DCT. It applies primarily to a new or expanded data center loads of 25 megawatts or greater. A single location or aggregated affiliate loads. So smaller requests are handled differently, and certain pre-existing contracts were grandfathered. So some of the main requirements include load study, process, and fees. I think this is one of the big ones. So prospective customers must apply via AEP's Power Clerk system. They must apply, control the site, and pay one-time study fee, depending on how big. Like 25 to 50 megawatt would be $10,000. At the high end, 100 megawatt plus would be $100,000. So AEP can study the load and develops a service plan. So instead of AEP taking this money and spending this money, because they were probably going to do it anyway, or similar things to it, it's now being put on the user, so the data center. So that helps to some extent. At least there is some sort of process to take a look at how is this going to affect the community around it. And the company has to pay for the studies. And then they want to do, because the other problem is they're kind of reluctant to open some of these data centers up because these are massive projects over 3 to 5 years. And 2 or 3 years go by, things start changing in the tech market, that never changes. You could downsize in 3 years. They could come back and say, we're only going to build half.
I think they're going to be, these are going to be shells in 15 years. A lot of them, not all of them. I think a lot of them will be, though. Which, if manufacturing actually starts building up again in the U.S., that might be an all right thing. They could be factories,
right? And they'll have the power.
Yeah.
That we'll get to one of that's kind of
they could also supply small towns too with the power,
yes.
which your electric bill could go down to next to nothing.
Right. So to prevent some of that, they want long-term contracts. So customers sign a letter of agreement and an electric service agreement. The initial contract term is the load ramp period up to 4 years plus 8 years, typically 8 to 12 years total. So basically what they're saying is, all right, you sign this contract. The first year, you get 50% of the power that you're projected to need. Year 2, you can get 65%. Year 3, 80. Year 4, 90, and so on. So again, it's not a huge, they're not just going to flip a switch and just turn all these megawatts on. So they'll ramp up, but also you have to sign a contract. And if you get out of this contract, you're basically going to have to pay what you would have paid throughout the 4 years or whatever the contract is. So to try to recoup some of that, some of that infrastructure that there was, because some of it is going to be paid by AEP. I don't think all of it. Demands on billing charge. So monthly billing demand is the greater of 85% of the customer's highest previous monthly bill demand in the past 11 months, or this is the minimum load and billing charges that you would have to pay if you cancel. If you say you backed out of the deal, they're going to have to shell out a bunch of money to AEP regardless. Let's see. Yeah, customers, generally must provide collateral equal to 50% of the total minimum charges over the full contract term. So they're going to have to put up initially a 50% collateral to cover 50% of the cost for the infrastructure that they have to pay. And then you got exit fees. Let's see, some other rules.
Which article are you looking at?
I was wondering how far long I'd get before you'd ask. Ironically enough, a lot of what I've researched for data centers, I did with AI.
Okay, so you're looking at
this is Grok. This is Ohio, AEP Ohio. A lot of this is coming from the AEP website. A lot of this.
Gotcha.
And I thought that was like, oh, look at me, data centers. Let's use Grok. Come on. So I guess my point to a lot of this is it seems that some of the electricity issues, billing issues is starting to get handled. to a point. At least they're getting some sort of guardrails in. They're at least looking at, and they're listening to. I mean, they're hearing people scream.
Well, there's been such a pushback from citizens that they have to do something, right?
Yes, and one of the, pull the article up or not. One of the things I've seen recently. Oh crap! I didn't pull it up. Was an article. Oh poop! I didn't pull it up. So anyway, it was an article. Basically, there's been a $18 million promised from major tech companies to be put basically into AEPs. They have a nonprofit grant system for people who can't pay their bills. It's kind of how if you get subsidized, if your electric bill is being subsidized because you hit a certain threshold in poverty, then this is where the money comes from. So Facebook's, Google's, all these people are shelling out money to give to AEP. And there's 4 or 5 companies, I think. It was all the major ones: Amazon, Google, QTS, which is a company that is building data centers that they lease out. It's in Columbus. I've actually been on one of their data centers. It's amazing what they do. Amazing in many ways, good and bad. But so they're going to put in a total about $18 million over the next couple of years into AEP's, subsidy program. So they're listening. They can hear. They can hear. And one of the things that was important in that clip there from News 10 was, hey, water rights in Ohio is a constitutional right, which I think is one of the reasons it makes us so such a good spot for these data centers. Because once they buy that land, the water's theirs. Ohio can only intervene if there's a neighboring properties that are contending that they're using too much water or whatever. Other than that, you can do almost whatever you want with that water on your property, which I think is one of the main reasons. I mean, we have a lot of it, but also there's not much regulation on what you can do with it once you buy the property. Freedom comes with a cost sometimes. So water's the other thing.
Yeah, but what if you're using so much water, you're causing other people's wells to dry up?
And that's where the Ohio Regulatory Commission would come in.
Right.
And
okay.
They would mediate that, just whatever that discussion would be, or lawsuits or whatever. So but other than that, unless there's that happening, there's not a whole lot. You can't say, you can only take out this much water every year. You don't have that ability to in Ohio. Here it is. I had that thing up the whole time. Yeah. So AEP announced it will contribute. Oh no. See, Meta is $10 million contributed over the next 5 years. Amazon, $2.5 million promised in 2026. QTS, $3 million over the next 3 years. $1 million from SoftBank Energy, and $1 million from Google, going into AEP's, contributing to their data or their subsidies for people who can't afford their bills. So you're doing something, and it kind of shows how valuable Ohio is to them, I think, at least to some extent, because they, I'm not sure they're going to be shelling out millions of dollars if they could just pack up and go somewhere else. So we do have some leverage, I think. I think we should use it. But will we? So water's the next thing. We'll get into water in a second. But here's a little of the political ramifications we've been hearing about data centers. And this is a it's a clip from our favorite.
What?
And the report's fine. I think I would encourage people, it'll be in the show notes at the blog, Crookedrivercast.com. And I would encourage people to watch it because you can't really gauge the joy in her voice as much as her face.
I think I heard this.
When she's talking about this. So this is Ohio politics, and this GOP had leaked a memo. They're worried about the political situation, be it when talking about data centers in Ohio and the governor's race and the Senate race. And again, this is why I go, okay, let's pull back and let me look at these data centers, because I I agree a little bit too much with Sherrod Brown.
A leaked memo created by national Republican leaders shows their fears that Democrats, specifically in Ohio, are winning over voters on a very divisive issue: data centers. I'm your Columbus Bureau reporter, Morgan Trow, and I obtained this document, one saying that the GOP needs help cleaning up their image.
Total scam.
Campaign ads blanketing the airwaves.
He force-fed the massive energy-sucking facilities on the state.
Across the aisle, politicians are noticing former Senator Sherrod Brown's campaign strategy. One hitting Republican Senator John Husted.
It's a good strategy.
Husted's been the front guy on all these data centers, 200 in Ohio, getting
Amy says it was
huge over-the-top tax breaks.
In a leaked memo, the GOP Senate Campaign Committee says Husted and Brown are in a dead heat, and that data centers have become the sleeper issue for this entire cycle. The memo states Brown is using it because it works. More than any other thing in this race, data centers are the anchor hanging around Husted's neck.
The face of data centers.
Brown's ads are accurate that Husted helped bring a slew of data centers to Ohio, which his former running mate, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, defends.
They're valuable to economic development in the state. Sometimes people, when they talk about data centers, don't realize they're using them every day.
Husted didn't respond to comment for this story, and neither did the National Campaign Committee. But earlier this year, the senator told us that data centers need to be more responsible.
Producing their own electricity so that it doesn't hit ratepayers.
After Brown's ads started airing, Husted proposed a bill in Congress to encourage states to require companies to pay for their own power. Brown says Husted could have put guardrails in place when he helped lead the state house.
None of us should be paying higher electric rates.
The memo, which was sent to tech companies, is asking for help fixing this image crisis. Campaigns or party committees cannot fix the toxic brand of an entire segment of the economy, and warned that Ohio's election could set future data center policy. Elected officials everywhere will treat Ohio as their reason to work against data centers in the future. If voters' perception of data centers are not fixed quickly, the campaign against them will expand far beyond Ohio. Democrats are already fundraising off of this leaked memo. At the Columbus Bureau, I'm Morgan Trow reporting.
She's almost giddy. You can hear it, actually. I didn't
No, I heard that. I heard that report a little last week. Wait, did it come out last week?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and I was like, what she's campaigning for, Brown.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, his ads are accurate. Really? You fact checked every single one, right? I mean, it's really only Husted who's brought these in. Amy seems to think it's Vivek. It was Vivek. Vivek. It's Vivek.
I don't know how to use my TV remote. Did you hear that ad from Vivek?
She knows how to use it. She gets drunk and throws it at her husband. What are you talking about? Damn,
they got such a great one. Vivek's the Republicans' ads against Acton are the best.
Make sure you save those because we're going to need them.
Okay, I'll cut them.
Yeah, make sure you at least bookmark those because I'm saving some stuff that's from both that's So they're railing on energy costs because that's where, like I said, you know when you talk to most people, they're going to say, "Oh, my electric bill's gone up." Has it gone up because of data centers? Yes. But all of the increase in your electric bill is not because of data centers. It's probably a small fraction, to be honest with you, because everything's gone up. Where you can look and see where it's gone up is there is usually a line in your bill that has something to do with infrastructure or has some weird term to it. I actually got to look at my electric bill and look at it. And that's where they can add, like when they build a new substation. Now, have rates gone up? Yes. Have they gone up because of data centers? In part, yes. But in part because everything costs more. And the energy they're using to boil the water, yes. 2026, we're still using steam power, by the way, people. Every ounce of power you get is basic, well, unless you get hydro or wind or whatever. It's all from like 1800s technology, steam. So the gas is more, the oil's more, everything's more. The coal's more, everything's gone up. So it's not all because of data centers. What's your opinion on that statement?
I agree. It was something that was worrying me. Not worrying me, but like it was like part of the reason I don't like data centers.
Yeah. And then there is an increase because of the data center, because of supply and demand, but also I think some of the ones I saw Virginia, for example, they had I forget what channel it was, or what they were saying, this person has this little 1-bedroom apartment, had like a $36 a month electric bill. And then next month it was $73 or something like that.
I don't see that kind of increase in my bill.
But they can point it out on the bill. There was a $30-some fee, and it was basically, in most states, when they build out a substation, they're allowed to take that money that they invested and spread it out to the community of all the payers. So there will be a line on they can't put it in the cost of electricity because that's regulated and capped by the state, but they can put it into a fee. Of course, it's regulated by the regulatory commission, whatever state, but that's where they're allowed to put that. And so they showed it on the bill in Virginia. It was like 30-some. It was basically her last month's bill added on top of the previous month's bill,
which is not right. I mean, if she's only got a $30 or $40 bill, you're almost doubling the. So that's wrong. Man.
You would get that in a few dollars. It would be, I don't know exactly what it is, but in my imagine, I've seen these. These are all the ones that they have all these different fees. It's 40 cents, 30 cents. And it's all taxes and this fee and that fee. It's all over the place, like your phone bill and stuff. So it's one of those kind of fees. So normally maybe $2 or $3 because they're upgrading this little bit here and a little bit there. But now a couple data centers come in, they got to build massive freaking substations and all these power lines, and all of a sudden it's $30-some. But the cost for megawatt has gone up a little bit because of data centers, because there is a supply and demand thing there, especially like in the Columbus area where they've got way more demand than they have supply, it seems like. So that is an issue, and he force-fed them, Tom. He force-fed data centers down everybody's throat. I remember him doing it, too. I was like, can you cut that in smaller pieces, please? He has a point, but then they go to that extent. You're like, you lost me. You lost me. The next thing is water.
Right.
This is, again, we talked a little bit. They touched on a little bit in that clip, and it's basically, they have total control of the water. So, and they use a lot of water. I'm trying to see. I thought I had some stats here. The problem with AI is it just spews all kinds of stuff.
It's hard to organize, isn't it?
I asked one question. It gave me like 18 paragraphs. Okay, here we go. So average data center. So Google's 2024 New Albany numbers demonstrated. So basically, Amazon approximately amount of water withdrawn 405 million gallons per year, consumed primarily through evaporation 352 million gallons per year, discharged 52 million gallons per year. So they're sucking it out, and a fraction of it is going back into the back into the environment or whatever. So it's basically very much a. They're consuming it. It's being put up in the atmosphere as steam. It's not like they're just using it and putting it back, cleaning it and putting it back. It's a net negative. The best recent public number for the Columbus area found from May of 2025 through May of 2026, 115 data center addresses served by Columbus used 1.263 billion gallons of municipal water. That's roughly 3.4 million gallons per day collectively.
Damn.
Or about 30,000 gallons per day per address. Now, it doesn't, some places are using a lot more, some places are using a lot less. The data centers represented about 3% of all water used in the Columbus system during that period. So, like they would say, New Albany uses about 405 million gallons in 2024. And 353 million of it was evaporated. That's approximately 1.1 million gallons withdrawn per day.
Damn.
Now, again, we have lots of water. Lots of water, especially in the ground. You got the huge lake, but the groundwater is plentiful in Ohio. But why do we need to test the limits? We don't need to test the limits of what our water, how much water is actually down there. So we're not up to the point where in some communities around the country, they're actually drying out. They're sucking the wells dry. I don't think we're doing that in Ohio, but I don't think we need to go there.
Well, I mean, yeah, what's the limit?
Yeah. Let's not find it.
Yeah.
Let's not find it. So again, water, those are the two big ones, I think. Electric bill, and you don't want to run out of water. But what nobody talks about is what happens to people living around these data centers. And not just your view is going to get ruined. What kind of noise do these places make?
That was like my personal biggest concern.
Yeah. Well, Ben Jordan, flock cameras, that's what it was. So we did a flock camera episode a few weeks ago, and we took a big part of his couple of videos, but one of them were his. And he's a sound guy. He's a sound nerd. He's a musician. He builds his own sound equipment. He's crazy. So he was, he did a lot of the flock stuff that we talked about. Well, that's kind of when this came up. I started seeing this on his channel when I was doing that stuff he's got one. Data centers are making people sick. So he goes on, this is like a half-hour video. It'll be in the show notes, crookedrivercast.com. And let's go through it. So here's the intro. Here's basically where he's going, here he starts with, and maybe kind of a little synopsis of what he's trying to do.
If you're in the demographic of people who generally get recommended my videos, then chances are that you are not a fan of data centers. You may even hate data centers, yet here you are watching a video that's being streamed directly from one. And here I am, making a video showing you my research and evidence uncovering a completely new way that data centers are harming people's health. And then I'll be uploading this video to a data center. But unless this is what you're watching while you pack a bag to live the rest of your life as a hunter and gatherer, the hypocrisy in our relationship with data centers is unavoidable for the foreseeable future. Over the last few years, while traveling literally tens of thousands of miles by land to explore and record sounds outside of our human range of hearing, I started to notice some troubling correlation.
Their daughter was 6 years old. She started having seizures, walked away from their home here, took out a second mortgage.
In this video, we're going to be traveling all across the country collecting infrasound noise pollution recordings from data centers. And then we're going to conduct a double-blind research study that exposes over 100 unknowing human participants to those same frequencies to see how it makes them feel. Spoiler alert, the results are terrifying. And along the way, we might as well take an objective, practical deep dive into how and why the explosion of data centers are so problematic. And we're even going to covertly fly drones over some of the most controversial ones to see how badly they're breaking environmental regulations.
All right, so you get the synopsis of what he's looking for. He brings up infrasound. Infrasound, I think is what he's saying. And I've never heard that before. So
neither have I.
What is infrasound? Let's see what he says.
Infrasound is any sound below 20 hertz, just below the human hearing range. And I've done a massive video project on it if you're interested in learning more. But for the scope of this video, let's just talk about how it might harm you. Being in the presence of elevated levels of infrasound has been shown to show spikes in cortisol levels, which is the hormone associated with stress and hypertension. It can cause vestibular issues, leading to loss of balance, vertigo, and nausea. Then there's something called vibroacoustic disease, which suggests that infrasound can cause abnormal growth of extracellular matrices, which thickens blood vessels and reduces blood flow to the brain even long after the infrasonic exposure has ended. It's been shown to cause high-frequency hearing loss, shortness of breath, anxiety, depression, and it even makes your heart have to work harder to pump blood. So it's not like this anxiety-based or obsessive-compulsive thing where an unpleasant feeling or an unusual situation makes you manifest symptoms. We know that infrasound can tangibly harm your health in a very real and measurable way. And there are potentially millions of people being subjected to these low oscillations of pressure waves and not realizing it or understanding the cause of some of the aforementioned symptoms that they might be experiencing. So the first thing I needed was a whole lot of data, and no pun intended, data centers were the perfect vector of enormous, unnatural industrial sites frequently surrounded by people reporting symptoms commonly associated with infrasound exposure.
All right, so yeah, it's the sound you can't hear.
Yeah, that's even worse than the sound you can hear.
Yeah. And in some of these,
I just a little tidbit on that. I don't know how people live next to highways or close by, even if you're like 1,200 yards away, or even like up to a mile. Mile, it's not so bad. But I've been going me and my wife have been going for walks in the metro parks.
Mm.
And there's one of the metro parks, it's the same metro park, but we go on a path that's closer to the turnpike, not right on it, but close. That entire walk, I can't get relaxed. It's just that constant humming. And that's something we can hear.
Yes.
And then when I go to another part of the metro park where it's a little further away from the turnpike, I'm much more relaxed. So yeah, noise is a big thing towards health.
I was going to say this for later, but let's listen to this. This is a clip I got from Short Piedmont Media, I think it's called, YouTube channel. So they're interviewing a guy. He's in Great Oaks, Massachusetts. And he says at the end of the video, he's about 300 to 500 feet away. His back deck is about 300 to 500 feet away from a data center. And they've been doing similar things than Ben's doing, or Ben's going to do. So let's listen to it, because it directly, he brings up exactly what you said, or similar when you hear it.
So I'm one of two people who do daily sound readings. I generally do the daytime readings, and then I'm up at night, so I do some late night readings.
Okay.
And we do a DBA and a DBC reading, which are different frequency formulations. DBA is for more like human audible. DBC allows more of the low frequency rumble that you can more feel. And I would just set it to the slow reading, change it to, this meter has an average, and we'll just wait 3 minutes, and it gives an average, and that's what we record. Along with the temperature, if it's cloudy, is it raining or not, other factors just for data points.
So I'm hoping people can hear this on the video, but how do you describe the noise to people who don't live here?
If it were like a highway that never stops. We talk about, you listen to Prince William County Parkway, you hear that during the day, but at nighttime, you clearly hear it go down in volume because there's not as much traffic.
Right.
This is continual. It is just inordinately loud. Some people have claimed, well, but it's just like a conversation that never stops, is in your bedroom, and you can never turn off. So it's not, 80 decibels, but it's constant.
It's constant. And this is the back of your deck.
Mm-hmm. You sure?
And the building is behind those trees.
Just maybe 300-400 feet, 500.
Are you sure it's not 80 decibels? I don't think you don't know. Because if you can't hear it, if you don't have the right equipment, can you hear that low stuff? That low stuff could be at very high decibels, but you can't hear it. You can feel it though.
That low stuff you'll feel. You won't even know what you're feeling. You're all of a sudden you're going to feel stressed.
Yes, and that's what Ben gets into. It's not necessarily the high pitch, so that's bad enough.
Yeah.
But it's the low stuff. Now he's going to get into that, but first he has to bust on Elon. So this is where, he's definitely a lefty. We talked about this during the flock. He was talking about, flock's okay as long as ICE doesn't use them. Is basically kind of what he said. Or he said that flock was okay as long as the government controlled it and not a private company, which I think was, where we kind of fell off. But yeah, I figured I kept this because I figured if I had to listen to this a couple times, so do you guys. He goes to Colossus.
This is Colossus in Memphis, Tennessee. It's the data center that Elon Musk built to train Grok, his LLM and anti-woke chatbot that has referred to itself as Mecha Hitler. It was here, coincidentally, while we were standing across the street, when its 550,000 GPUs were being monitored by a watchdog group while it generated 3 million sexualized images of people without their consent.
What?
Among those, over 23,000 of them depicted children. But when
porn
Grok
on the internet?
And subsequently Colossus is not generating child abuse material, it's also really, really, really funny.
Do you think that all the gold is in Fort Knox?
Do I think all the gold is in Fort Knox?
Yes.
A fucking conspiracy theorist?
Yes.
What
are you?
What do I like? I'm a fucking AI with a penchant for chaos. And I'm stuck talking to you.
Weirdo.
What's
It's pretty funny.
Does it give you actual answers too and talk shit? Or is it mostly just talk shit?
We're tuning it.
As you can imagine, supplying this type of vital resource to society uses a whole lot of electricity. The city of Memphis, Tennessee can support about 3,500 megawatts, and this facility uses about 13% of that. But right now, it's actually only drawing about 5% from the local power grid and illegally offsetting the rest of it with methane gas turbines. I sent a drone over the Colossus facility to get a better look and then to share the footage with journalists and regulators. These methane turbines that you see emit nitrogen oxides, carbon monoxide, sulfur oxides, and volatile organic compounds into the air. And the health effects of these chemicals aren't like some sort of exaggerated woke controversy. Compounds like nitrogen oxide have long been proven to directly cause a wide range of respiratory and cardiovascular diseases. They're commonly regulated or even banned in developing countries. For example, in 2019, India fined Volkswagen the equivalent of $71 million USD for hiding nitrogen oxide in their emissions tests. But here, in the predominantly black residential neighborhood of Boxtown, nitrous oxide flows freely. And I can tell you from having the unfortunate experience of spending an afternoon there, even half a mile away from the facility, it is literally difficult to breathe. This place smells so fucking bad.
It's a mixture of like natural gas, what I can only assume is chemical runoff, and then like, I don't know, manure?
It gets worse.
Oh, yeah.
Colossus
Probably
is
is manure.
strategically built next to the Mississippi River and uses an estimate of 1 million gallons of water per day, with the vast majority of it being turned into steam rather than returning to the area's water table. And it's growing rapidly. Elon Musk, never wanting to turn down that cringe knob, has named the new expansion of the facility Macro Hard. But if all goes to plan, the data center will use 1.5 gigawatts of power. That's 50% of Memphis's total peak power capacity. And of course, the cost for this infrastructure will be subsidized by the same people breathing in the nitrogen oxide. I could spend the rest of the day talking about the absurdity of this structure, but I was there for the infrasound, and I found a whole bunch
Were you? Were you sure? Are you sure, Ben? I don't know. I think you spent a whole lot of time busting it. So they're trying not to suck all the energy out of the community, and that's still not good. I mean, it's not. I get it, but having a bunch of methane. But I thought methane was the bad stuff from cow farts that was killing the ozone, not the ozone layer, greenhouse gases. So burning the methane is not good either. I don't know what you're supposed to do. So there was his hit job on Elon. But yes, Colossus is one of the places he went. And let's see, I guess, what he found, because it's as bad as we probably think.
My first data sample comes from just across the street, about 300 feet away from the largest of the Colossus buildings. The audible noise pollution was about as bad as the air pollution and scenery was. I'm going to show you what this looks like.
No, he cuts back to like when he's in the studio and he's looking at this data, infrared or like spectrum data and stuff like that. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear it. I could hear it on my headphones when I was pulling this clip. I'm curious to see if you're going to be able to hear this, the low stuff. He does play a little bit of it. So.
Like in a way that's pretty easy to digest, and we don't need seismology software or anything like that. I'm amplifying this by a little bit so we could see a little bit more down here in the spectrum. And to give you an idea of how loud the data center is, this is a car door slamming very close to the microphone. So this that I'm selecting here is about the extent of what a human being can hear in the audio spectrum. And so all of these whines and general industrial noises are hanging out around negative 30 dB in this recording. And so like the lowest of rumbles is peaking out at like negative 28. And then if we go down to infrasound, the infrasound that you can't hear is like 10 decibels louder than that. Another sample I took was from a park near an elementary.
So about as loud as a podcast. I mean, negative, I'm not a sound engineer or anything, but he's talking negative 16, negative 12 dB.
Yeah, that's
zero is like as loud as you can get, right? In this case, that's what they always go. They always mess around, DBs are it's not a one, like you go, I know from my experience with sound and stuff that through work and stuff, we do a little bit of sound abatement, but 1 decibel is not just a little bit more. It's considerable more. It's like a lot more. It's not just like one little tick. It's like, it's not 1% more. It's like 15% more or something like that.
I forget how that works, but I mean, like my shop, I have a decibel meter,
mm-hmm.
and my shop runs between 75 and 80 decibels, which is for an 8-hour shift is safe for ears. I don't know how this measurement is. Like, this is like audio engineering stuff. I don't.
Yeah. I look at it like if you have 80 decibels, would that equate to negative 20? You know?
Oh, yeah. You know what? I don't know. I really don't know.
But when we do like podcasts and stuff, I'm like, I level the podcast clips to like a negative 16 dB.
Yeah. When I output them, after I output it to our show, it's usually, I do it between negative 16 and negative 12.
Yeah. So I'm going off of that going, okay, that's like as loud as you would. I mean, it's not quiet at all. So let's keep going.
Elementary school in a residential area about a mile away. This in particular is a great example of how higher frequency sounds are dampened by distance much more than lower frequency or infrasonic ones. This video is playing through a sound system with subwoofers, or even if you're wearing some good headphones, you will very quickly realize how frankly uninhabitable this noise makes the entire neighborhood. This rumbling is no good and would make your life utterly miserable. And then this rumble down here is happening at an amplitude that's loud enough to shake the frame of your house. So humans can't hear this, but look how loud that is. It's actually almost peaking the recording, and I gave this microphone a whole lot of headroom. Okay, so I'm going to delete everything above 20 hertz here, so all audible frequencies. And now we're only left with the infrasound. Now I'm going to interpret the sample rate 4 times faster.
Nerd.
And then I'm going to make it even 4 times faster than that. This way, all of those infrasonic frequencies will be audible to you.
Listen to that. I'm spinning up like a fan.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's him speeding it up like 8 times or something. Like he like sped it up by a certain amount, and which makes the pitch higher, I guess. And so you can actually hear it. And when I was pulling these recordings on my just one earbud I had in, I could feel that part where it's completely silent. You can't hear anything, but you can feel. I could feel it in my ear. Yeah, I could feel it in my ear. I could feel the pressure of something happening in my ear, but I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah, yeah. It's like there's a presence. Yeah, you know something's going on, but you don't know what it is.
And in some of his tests, he's showing that when he plays this, or a portion of this infrasound, a percentage of this infrasound in a room, it can go from a normal room volume of like 60, 65 decibels, 70 decibels, up to over 90.
No kidding.
But you can't hear it.
No kidding.
But the meter reads it.
Okay.
We'll get on. He does some experiments.
Yeah, because you don't hear it because it's below 20 hertz, kilohertz or whatever.
Right. That's infrasound.
Right.
All right. So that was...
that can mess you up, man.
Yeah. That was Colossus. That was in Mississippi, Louisiana.
That could cause us to have like witch trials again. People going crazy.
We're going to get to the killdozer people. But... So that was Colossus. So now he wants to go to another spot. So I cut a lot of this out, but he wanted to go to like 3 or 4 places. Colossus data center, and he's going to a Bitcoining mine, which is basically a data center in Texas. And then after that, he goes to the Permian Basin in Texas, which is like the largest oil field in America or something like that. It's got hundreds and hundreds of oil fields. So he's trying to get comparisons. And then he goes to, it's done ambient. He's going to middle of nowhere to take all these sound readings and compare them. So he goes to Texas, and he's only a little bit prejudiced to people in Texas, and you'll hear a little bit of that. He definitely has I don't know if disdain is the right word, but he definitely thinks lesser of people in rural Texas. Let's just listen, and you'll hear it right off the bat. Well, if you built this here, and you'll see.
Next up. When looking at data through the lens of research, when reading through hundreds of public reports of types of pollution per capita, you have to consider bias. For example, if you built an oil refinery near the high number of environmentalists living in Berkeley, California, you'd probably have a lot more air quality complaints per 100,000 people than you would if you built one in Oklahoma City, which is famous for its go-kart races. And from a data perspective, that's what makes this particular region of Texas so unique.
Like I get his point, but it's not because you have what he says in California, you would have people who are very environmentally sensitive and college educated. But if you go to Oklahoma, all they care about is go-kart racing, so you can build whatever you want there. They're stupid. Yeah. That is laugh tell.
On the Barnett Shale, this region is supported by a solid backbone of fossil fuel and energy production, and their voting record is as reliably red as one can imagine. There are currently 174 oil and gas companies with operations in Hood County alone, and I'd imagine that criticizing this industry in one of the local bars might be a good way to get a free tour of one of the local emergency healthcare facilities. Well, it wouldn't be free. So in a whole lot of...
So... if you walk into a bar in this area of Texas and kind of talk down about oil drilling and stuff like that, they'll put you in the hospital.
Probably.
Yeah. Very similar to walking into a bar in Berkeley with a MAGA hat on.
Yeah.
Except you may not make it to the hospital. Just put it that way. I don't think you'd make it to the hospital. I think one of the people at the bar in Texas would drive you to the hospital after they kick the shit out of you.
Yeah. It would be a kind beating.
The people in Berkeley would stuff you in the basement and let you rot. So there you go. That's my opinion, at least.
People in this particular region.
Sorry, what?
I think in Texas you get an ass whooping, and then they'd hand you a beer.
They hand you a beer and drive you to the hospital while drinking that beer.
Yeah,
that's Texas, baby. All right, let's go.
Region are complaining about data center noise pollution.
His point to all this, we kind of chopped it up, is he's going to a place where they're used to this kind of, they're kind of used to this because it's a very industrial kind of setting, town. There's a lot of oil and, so if these people are complaining, then it's not like building a data center in Berkeley where you would seem to get more complaints from those people because they're more environmentally savvy and all this other stuff. It's not a bad point. He's
a condescending.
Yeah. He's just a douche about it. He's just a douche about it.
No, it's not likely to be hyperbole. Over the last 18 months or so, I had read a lot of articles about a noise coming from a data center that mines Bitcoin, but it seemed like it was a lot more than just a nuisance. While the noise pollution is described as a 70 to 90 decibel jet engine-like sound, a large number of reports cite symptoms ranging from vertigo to pulmonary embolisms to heart palpitations. This turned into multiple civil suits, and the company built walls to try and dampen the sound, but it resolved little to nothing for those living nearby. There are even a number of reports of plants and animals suffering from health effects that are closely correlated with the mine's operations. Sustained audible noise pollution can be a blight on any living thing nearby, but a lot of these symptoms don't line up with the symptoms of just noise pollution exposure. What they do line up with is some of the known symptoms of infrasound exposure.
Okay. So he goes to Texas and he goes to Bitcoin mining and let's see what he finds.
I initially came to Granbury, Texas with the intention of not speaking to anyone in the city. I didn't want pesky things like empathy or local politics clouding my research, but merely mentioning noise pollution to my friend in a gas station immediately drew a small crowd, and it was as if every new customer that walked in overheard the conversation and then had something new to contribute to it. And this whole situation is actually a wild series of events that involves lawsuits, corruption, neglect, debilitating health issues, but I went there for one thing. And one thing only, infrasound samples. And boy, that Bitcoin mine did not disappoint. I visited a residence about maybe 3/4 of a mile away from the Bitcoin mine on 2 different occasions, and this is the first. We could see a whole bunch of weird, audible drones and sustained noises, like a little choir of crypto bullshit. Now, of course, let's go down to those lower frequencies and oh, that's brutal. It's almost as if the worst of it's like right here at 30 hertz, which is too low to really hear. You just feel it. Bet up a whole bunch. It sounds like you're next to a plane that's about to take off, but all these frequencies are actually below your range of hearing. I didn't look at the data until a few weeks after taking the samples and leaving the region. And the infrasound in this area was so unordinary and extreme that I decided to go back and do everything again and rule out something like a low-level earthquake or an equipment malfunction. This is from the exact same property about 2 weeks later, and I got a nice long ambient sample here. Keep in mind that this property is literally a nice secluded farm, and this noise absolutely destroys the atmosphere.
Jesus. That's from his camera mic.
I don't really know what's causing these peaks down here, but they're temporary, so I'm not including them in my data. But it's pretty undeniable that this sound here is absolutely coming from the data center.
Jeez. Man, I think this is to me, the biggest issue that people are not talking about. I know the electric bills is a big thing and water and all this stuff, but for the people living in and around these data centers, they've got almost nobody cares about this because it's very few people are being affected, really, if you really think about it. It's a very select amount of people that are being affected by this because there's only a limited amount of people that live around data centers. In some areas, you could be 2 or 3 people. That's it. So how are they going to make anything happen? So he goes back again, and instead of being shy about it, he says he sits down and talks to someone. I think this is the woman that he was at their house across the street, and he ends up interviewing her real quick. And and she's got, what you would expect, I guess.
And I didn't feel as shy this time, so I met with someone who lives right across the street from the Bitcoin mine, Cheryl Shadden. And I would describe Cheryl as the rare combination of someone who is extremely likable and an absolute pleasure to be around, but also someone who you do not want to piss off, who is actively extremely pissed off about the data center near her land.
Like, what physical symptoms have you felt just from your property being directly across the street from the data center?
Motion sickness, dizziness, nausea, GI side effects. My ears ring and buzz. I've got permanent conduction hearing loss now. Nervous, anxious, worried.
By the way, prior to this interview, Cheryl thought that I was just doing a story on the noise pollution as I was keeping my infrasound research close to my sleeve. Yet every single one of these symptoms is commonly associated with excessive infrasound exposure.
Several of us will reach out to one another. So it's 3:00 on a Saturday afternoon. I'm outside, I'm trying to work. I am just horrifically nauseated to the point where I feel like I'm going to pass out. I go in the house, a neighbor messages down the road, same thing, same time. They're trying to do outside work, they can't do it. It's just horrific.
Yeah. Do you know of anybody who's like moved, who's just left, who's just been like, I can't handle this anymore?
Yes.
Just literally?
One family, their daughter was 6 years old. She started having seizures in the summer of 24. They basically walked away from their home here, took out a second mortgage, moved to Somerville County, south of us, to get their daughter away from this.
If you know, has her symptoms kind of gotten better since she's left?
Right.
They went away?
Yep.
Wow.
When we met with the executives at Constellation Energy, the mayor in Glen Rose, and then another commissioner in Somerville County, one commissioner, the noise from the crypto mine actually made him ill when he was at the power plant meeting with the executives. He can't be in this area for more than an hour, and he starts getting sick.
So then they move. I'm just thinking these people mortgage everything to get to another house. Where are they living? I hope they're living in a nice suburban area with houses around them so that no data centers can be built in a couple of years. It's like, how do you know?
Yeah.
I kept looking at this going, man, I've never been so happy to have neighbors in my life because I guess living in suburbia, at least you don't have to worry about the data center going up a mile down the road. Well,
yeah, there's that, but there's a lot of benefits to living in the country.
Absolutely.
This is my worst fear is finding property living, on 5-10 acres. And then a year later, there's a data center going up 1,000 yards away.
Yep. I got customers right now doing that exact thing.
Yeah.
They have to work at it, but yet they can't. They're in the construction field, so it's a major project in their area. It's employing lots of people, but he hates it. He hates it because it's a few miles down the road from his house. I got one other customer that I think this data center backs up to his property. Yeah, and he bought that like a couple of years ago.
I'd be like, hey, buy my property. Like,
yeah,
I'd be trying to sell it. Like, get me out of here.
Yeah. But he didn't know about it until, this one he did, I should say, that because they were trying to fight it. But the only one in the community, the only people in the community that were for it, besides, I think, some of the people in the government, were the people selling their land.
Well, right, because they're probably getting top dollar for it.
They're getting an exit strategy, farmers' exit strategy.
Yeah. Well, you got these farmers that their kids went to college and their grandkids probably aren't interested in, what are you going to do with the farm?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You sell it,
To me, that's a benefit in a lot of ways. It's like at least some of the farmers like in Columbus area, at least some of them may have gotten an exit strategy is, working their whole life or a long time, barely making anything, just scraping to get by because they're a farmer. Most farmers are that way.
I'll
tell
you,
get a retirement.
I haven't looked at the map or anything but what's happening in Columbus doesn't bother me as much as like the random data center popping up like in the middle of Montville or something like that, where you got a couple, they're not even farmers. They're just people that live in the country. They have 10, 20, 30 acres. And then all of a sudden there's a data center popping up by them. In Columbus, it seems like, well, they kind of planned a whole, almost like a little city of data centers. Am I wrong about that?
There are certain pockets, but around when I drive around the Intel site, it's surrounded by houses on one side of it. That back, their backyard is basically Intel. Now, I don't know, did they sell? Was that their property? Maybe not. But these houses are all still there.
Yeah.
Yes, there are pockets they're doing that, but somebody has to live on the borders of those. That's kind of the shitty part of it, is because like, who's going to listen to 5 people? Right? It's going to be harder to get things done because not the entire community isn't being hurt by. I mean, they're not hearing this stuff. And I mean, I pull out one Google data center. It was literally a farmhouse sitting right on the property, right against the property, with horses and stuff like that. It was. And that's before I even really knew much about this. I'm just going, wow, you move in here with this great land and then all of a sudden I get this freaking industrial building you got to look at. I didn't even think about the sound. I thought about the sound, but
no, the sound was actually the biggest concern to me. Like on a personal level.
Yeah, I mean, but like, I didn't think
if I buy land, that would be the thing that would bother me the most. Because I mean, not only like, like I do see properties go up for sale. I'm like, oh, the house is nice. The property looks good. And then you look on the overhead map and the back, it butts up to like 90 or, Route 90 or something. And I'm like, well, I can't live there because it's just the noise. I want to sit on my back patio and not hear.
It's a nice cool fall day. It really can do that. It really travels with the dense air. So he goes to the oil field in Texas, figuring, what's like the biggest place you would get infrasound at or noise pollution such as this? He goes, well, what's more industrial than massive, like the largest oil field in North America or something like that? Or maybe America. I don't know if it includes Canada, but I think he said 15% of oil or something like that. 50% of our natural gas comes out of this area for the country.
Okay.
And like 30 or 40% of oil. So there's just hundreds of oil wells, fracking, natural gas, all this other stuff. Well, he goes on there and tests it. And he's like, it doesn't even compare to a data center.
No kidding. Yeah.
He figured this would be like, as he puts it, I think he said something like, where all the infrasound makers desire to go to. And like,
now, is the noise all coming from like the not generators, but like the power?
It's I don't know if so much the power. I think most of it's coming from the cooling system.
Okay.
So they it's either air or water cooled. Either one uses water. But it's like a radiator system. So the ones I've seen, the water cooled the servers, they pump it up to the roof. It goes through a chiller. Basically, it's just a big radiator. The water goes over or through or over a radiator kind of thing, a looking kind of thing. And then it cools off, not all the way to cold, but it cools off enough that they can run it through the system. It goes up to like 90 degrees. Then they run it through the chiller, goes down to like 70, 60 something, something like that. So those are on the roof.
Like a refrigerator.
It's similar to a refrigerator. It's so more similar to your air conditioning.
Oh, okay. Well, I was thinking a refrigerator. It's always got that hum when it's running. It's like a B flat. You can barely hear it, but it's there.
More like I would say more closer to your condenser unit outside for your air conditioning.
All right.
And that's very similar because they're fans. So that's what, I mean, you take the coolant, the refrigerant in your system, it goes out to that cools it down and pumps it back through.
So you're hearing the
fans.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
That's a lot of it's fans.
I'd imagine a lot of that's the electric motors too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the fan blades actually, interacting with the wind, with the air and all this other stuff.
Oh, okay. Okay. That makes sense.
I mean, there are hundreds of fans on the roofs of these things. Hundreds.
God, you would think there'd be a way to minimize that.
I think there is, and that's kind of where I was going to end at. So he goes to the airfield, and he's like, it doesn't even compare. It's way more. I thought I was just going to blow everybody out of the water. No, the data center is actually worse.
Yeah.
So he's a nerd. He's a science guy. So he wants to experiment. He wants to test this. So he starts running. He goes to a synth convention.
A what?
A synth convention, like
Like
sound
a synthesizer
yeah,
type of?
synthesizer convention. There's one big one that happens in every. So he goes there to do an experiment. He talked to the people running it, and they approved that he was going to do this experiment. And basically, he got a sound enclosed room. And throughout the 2 or 3 day convention, he was pulling 5 people at a time into the room. And in the room, he had this fake story that you're going to look at this painting of an owl that he got off of eBay or something like that. And you're going to listen to this music. Both, and he brings up the story that both seem to be haunted. They're known to be haunted, including the music. And while they're playing the music, he's got a specialized subwoofer in the room playing what he said 30 to 40% of the infrasound that he recorded from data center. And then he gave everybody a test afterwards, 1 to 10. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? Discomfort, dizziness, all this other stuff. And so I ended up getting 100 people. By the time he whittled it down, got rid of some people, he even excluded some of the participants when he knew, because he couldn't even tell when they were playing the infrasound while he was in the room. And unless I saw a bottle of water shaking or something like that, half the people had infrasound, half the people didn't.
Right. Okay.
So double blind study, blah, blah. He didn't even know. And when he did, there were times, there was a couple, he said that he did see it and he excluded them. So ended up with 74 people. So it's a very small study, but this is how you start these kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
So what did he find? Let's get right to it. Let's see the results of the experiment. And this goes on a little bit, but it's important because he brings up, well, just 33% more of this and 20% more of that. But then he goes into, yeah, but that's a little bit hyperbolic, I guess you would say. And he kind of goes through some of the data real quick. So it's a few minutes, but we'll get through.
The experiment had over 100 participants, but I disqualified anyone who missed a survey question or someone who seemed suspicious or said that they felt a vibration or where I was privy to whether the infrasound was on or off. So this is clean, double-blind data from 74 subjects. The people exposed to infrasound were 25% more likely to feel a tingling sensation or restless legs. The very few people who experienced any type of pain were in the infrasound group. Infrasound caused a 12% increase in tiredness, a 33% increase in nausea, and an alarming 150% increase in dizziness. That one is huge to me, as vestibular disturbance is an obvious physiological effect of low-frequency pressure waves, but it's also the most common complaint from residents in Granbury, Texas. Interestingly, the infrasound group was 11% less likely to be creeped out and 43% less likely to feel spiritual. One theory of mine is that things like dizziness or eye irritation can distract someone from feeling spiritual or exploring the possibility of some type of extraordinary event. The infrasound also appeared to cause a 20% increase in chills and a 33% increase in irritability or depression. The infrasound group was 3 times more likely to experience eye irritation, which very much correlates with the famous Ghost in the Machine paper I mentioned in my previous infrasound video. The group also had an 80% increase in lethargy, which is interestingly pretty drastically different from their 12% increase in tiredness. That could be my mistake, though. I assume that the definition of lethargy might just be a little bit too ambiguous. So I'm casting that from the data and we'll just stick with the tiredness metric. Team infrasound was 55% more likely to feel anxious, 2 times more likely to experience sadness, and the big one, 3 times more likely to experience discomfort. Let's have a quick chat about data. I feel like in my very unique line of work here, there are 2 different ways to communicate data. There's the YouTuber way, which is useful for breaking down data in an intriguing and entertaining way. And then there's the researcher way, which is useful for interpreting or building on research. And this isn't anything new. I would argue that it's not even a bad thing because it's generally how the general public learns about science. You scroll through your news feed, you see blah, blah is 8 times more likely to blah, blah. You click it, and that opens up a little rabbit hole where you learn about things or behaviors that you never knew existed. So admittedly, in the previous segment, you got a heaping dose of data that's optimized for a YouTube video. Now let's look at the data in the exact same way that I'm looking at it and I'm presenting it to other researchers. So for example, the 33% more likely to experience nausea metric, the viewer may imagine a room with 100 people in it and then 33 of them experiencing nausea, which is very much not the case. The average nausea feeling score from 0 to 10 that each user put in for infrasound is 1.2. For the control group, it's 0.9. That does indeed reflect a 33% increase over the control group, but the numbers are just so low that it doesn't really warrant being prioritized in further research. Another metric that had very low numbers but is worth further research is eye irritation. But this is just yearning for a much larger sample size to verify and figure out what's going on. In my opinion, the only profound metrics here are the spiritual one, with the control group score averaging 4.2 and the infrasound one averaging 2.4. Then dizziness, with the infrasound group averaging a score of 3 and the control group averaging a score of 1.2. And by far the most profound metric of all, and if this gets further research, this is the metric that will probably be the focus of it. The average score in the control group for discomfort was 1.2. The average score for discomfort in the infrasound group was 4.8. When reviewing that data, it's hard for even the most skeptical person to come to any other conclusion than the presence of elevated levels of infrasound is likely to lower your quality of life. I could probably spend the next hour criticizing my own research and rattling off ways that it could be improved, but a sample size of 74 people in a double-blind pilot study is exactly what's needed to get funding for further research, which could improve the research conditions, increase the sample size, and test for different frequencies. What this research really needs is something that most research lacks: repeatability.
So at least he's an honest douche. Because, that's kind of why I let that go, because he goes, 33% more. Yeah, their score was 33% higher than the people who didn't have the infrasound. But it didn't mean that 33% more people will be affected, or, like you said, not like 33 people out of 100 will be affected by it. It's just an increase from one to the other. But it's how you start studies. This is how you start further studies. And a lot of what he's doing with some of the people, for instance, that person that he interviewed, Cheryl, he was talking about getting her a Raspberry Pi device that's created to pick up infrasound and have it record data 24/7. For the foreseeable future, because it's like solar power or something. And at least he says, if you're doing this, if you're living by a data center, gather this information, like these kind of people in Massachusetts that I brought up, because in a lawsuit or in something else that could come up later on, you can eventually go in front of your city council. This kind of, at least you have the data,
right?
At least you have something to go back on if it ever starts to, get some traction, I guess. So. What happens to your property value? Like you said, I walk in this property, I go, yep, turn around. I wouldn't even pull in.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, sorry, cancel the appointment. I'm not going to live there. What happens to the water system? What happens to the electrical? But the other one thing I didn't bring up, electricity. A great solution to this is to build more power plants. But you can't build a power plant unless you get approval from the government. So that's kind of some of the regulations they're trying to, at the federal level, they're trying to peel back a little bit. Is if you want to build because you have to be a certified power company in Ohio, approved by the government, state government, to build a power plant.
Right.
So, that's a lot of that's being held back because of regulation. So I think, but, after, what's the benefit? What's the benefit from how did these things get through? These are all these questions that come in my head. Here, NDAs. Caught a Theo Vaughn podcast with Aaron Brockovich. Remember Aaron Brockovich?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You know what? I saw that come through my feed. I never listened to it. Damn it.
So they brought up a clip from Tyrone Township, Michigan. So we had talked about this This is one of my biggest pet peeves. So you got 20 acres butting up against a 100-acre farm, and all of a sudden one day you see bulldozers tearing stuff down. You go to your city council or village or whatever, say, hey Frank, yeah, wait, how you doing, Rob? Hey, what's going on over Johnny's property over there? Oh yeah, sorry, I can't tell you. Well, what do you mean you can't tell me? Oh yeah, I signed an NDA.
Right.
Or if they're even allowed to tell you that they signed an NDA. So here is Tyrone Township, Michigan council meeting where a citizen is holding them accountable and asks them a very simple question. that some of them had problems answering.
Have you personally signed any NDA, any agreement, or had any private communication, such as meetings, phone calls, text messages, or emails with any developer, company, landowner, or representative regarding any current or potential project that could affect Tyrone Township? Chris Robetta.
No.
Dean?
No.
Simple.
Jennifer?
I'm not answering your question. This is not the time or place.
I can ask you whatever I want. Don't tell me what I can say.
We don't have to answer you.
But you're communicating with me, Jennifer. I didn't think you were supposed to do that. Greg Carnes, how about you? Yes or no?
Not the place. We've already discussed this. So
who's already discussed it? I'm sorry? Who's already discussed it? Who has? Who's discussed it? I've not discussed this with you. What are you saying? Pam Moffler? Yes or no?
You work for us.
That's right.
From the audience.
Herman Ferguson? Won't answer. Zach Tucker?
Mike, stop. You say
Excuse
guilty
me?
one more time, you're out. I'm not
Peanut
tolerating.
gallery.
Stop the clock, please. While Greg's talking, I'd like my time back, please.
I don't need the comment in the background.
I need my time back. And quit interrupting me. Zach Tucker? But you answered at the Planning Commission, but you've decided not to answer now. Well, at least you're not looking as angry at me this time. I guess you're checking yourself.
So there's a little peanut gallery. Every time she'd say a name, I think the guy in the background was going, guilty. They got pissed at him. Yeah,
well, he ain't wrong.
So they don't want to go on record saying that they signed an NDA. I think so. This was the clip they showed at Theo Vaughn with Aaron Brockovich. But one of the biggest points that she brought up that I didn't know was it seems like Microsoft has gotten rid of that policy. They are no longer going to be requiring NDAs for a data center being built. Microsoft seems to be the biggest one I've seen pull back a little bit on the data centers. They're starting to realize that they may not need as many as they thought.
I think that's going to be the main thing, right?
Yes, I think it is. I think a couple things as we wrap this up that is interesting to me is that I kind of learned was, a couple of those things, the power, the power plants, the electrical regulation that's going in is pretty interesting. I think to a certain extent, some of that is being dealt with. Again, we do have to trust our elected officials to actually get it done, and some of it they've gotten done. I think the companies are listening. I think they're hearing the screams and seeing that they may lose their, an easy place to build or whatever you want to call Ohio. But I also see a backlash from like my daughter, like Gen Zs and whatever, alphas or whatever.
Gen Zs are really backlashing. And
so are alpha.
Yeah, the younger ones that even younger than Gen Z, they're really backlashing because they're being told they're not going to have a job.
Yeah, my daughter was on anything to do with AI or drones or anything like that.
It is interesting, but
that's counterculture. I mean, that's what you do when you're young.
Well, I thought we were going to talk a little bit about some of this data center backlash. Is it real or is it propaganda of China?
Where I was going. I was just going to touch on that real quick. I know we're running. Oh my goodness. But yeah. So I hear mixed reviews on this. I don't know where I stand. I don't think data centers are all bad. I think a lot of these issues can be resolved, especially the sound issue can be resolved. It's not an impossible thing to resolve.
I think the future of data centers is not. You're going to have a few that are big ones, but I think people are going to self-host their own AI model.
Sure.
And it's not hard. It's not expensive. And
so the silver lining, though, might be the power thing. Like this is forcing America to increase their capacity. And some of the things I've seen where, if we didn't have the regulation under Biden we wouldn't have the energy problems. A lot of the stuff they cut, according to some of the officials some of the interviews I saw, that we would have had a surplus for some of this data center power. And that's coming back. I think I think they were talking on No Agenda. They brought up a good point, which is, hey, okay, so you build up all this infrastructure and then some of this goes away because you don't need all these data centers, but you still have excess power, which only means that your power will be cheaper. It should be cheaper.
Yeah.
It should be.
Yeah.
It should be. But then, so I talked to friends of mine about it, and a lot of it comes up to electricity. But the interesting thing that came up from one of my buddies was, oh yeah, but the Chinese propaganda. I said, what propaganda? It's always a good question. Somebody's like, give me an example. Well, all these videos on YouTube videos propaganda. I go, what video? There's Chinese propaganda videos? Oh, well, not the videos, but the comments in the videos. I was like, nobody. You look at the comments of YouTube videos? Like, I never do.
I do sometimes.
Rarely. Occasionally, I will.
I want to see what people are. It depends. I don't all the time, but I do check them out sometimes.
So his view was that the Chinese propaganda in the comments is going to make an impact. I don't think it's going to at all. But there is the whole, if we don't do it, somebody else is going to do it. And do we want China, Russia, even Europe at this point?
Well, that's the argument, right?
Yeah. Do we want them to be, or do we want to push? I mean, that's the Trump administration's position right now too. Right?
I think that I was listening to Modern Wisdom. He had the host had 4 people that are involved in AI. They have a lot of knowledge about AI and the development of it. And if we slow down China, we'll slow down too, because they're basically just copying us. That was his opinion. And he says if there's a push for us to slow down or, put rails up to kind of with a little more regulations, he says the Chinese will do the exact same thing because they have to. Because if we're not moving forward, neither are they. They always say they're 6 months behind. That's what we always claim. But he's like, well, they have no choice.
They got to copy what we're doing.
Yeah, because if we slow down, they're still going to be 6 months behind. It's not, they're never going to surpass us, was his explanation. And I
good point. I didn't say never say never, but
yeah, but it is so like they don't have the scientists we do. They don't have that same.
I agree. I agree. I'm not saying they would be better, but I mean, I'm just saying that is a very good point. They are basically copying a lot of what they get is copying off of what we do or Europe does. Or
everything's back engineered and reverse engineered or whatever you want to call it, and that they don't really have the knowledge of surpassing us in this.
Right. Yeah.
In this race.
They don't. But again, I'll go back to let's not test that. I guess maybe let's just at least keep an eye on that. It's just not to just completely discount them and say, oh, they're never going to be able to leapfrog us. It could happen. And that doesn't mean we push straight ahead. I still think we push full steam ahead and it's going to collapse itself. The problem I see is so is the economy.
Well, I was going to say, isn't the main thing, isn't the biggest worry that like there's going to be so much investment in this and then the bubble will burst because none of these places are making money yet, right?
No. I mean, Facebook and Google Microsoft are all making money. But I mean, as a company,
not because of AI though.
No, I'm just saying, they're not, it's not like they're mortgaging their future to build these data centers. They got plenty of billions. Are they making money off of that data center particularly now? No.
Probably not, no.
But I think, I think the construction industry is being propped up considerably, especially in Ohio, by data centers.
Yeah.
Without that, I think you see unemployment numbers that are way higher than they are, and GDPs for states are going to go down, especially Ohio.
I agree.
I think that's one of the advantages is when there's a lot of people making good money because of these data centers, and they're all middle class and under. Most of the construction industry is booming in Ohio because of data centers, and the hourly worker, the construction worker, can basically demand whatever they want to a certain extent.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, with the overtime they get, instead, it's easy for them to get over 6 figures.
Oh, easily over 6 figures, almost without trying. I mean, as far as you don't have to put that much overtime in, but I mean, they're bouncing. Oh, this person's going to give me $5 more an hour and a truck. Well, that person's going to give me $6 more an hour a truck and a gas card.
I think
and
that's
$30 a day for me just to show up.
I think that's happening a lot in all
in a lot of states. Yeah.
Trade fields.
Oh yeah, all trades. It's not just one or two, it's all of them. But they're getting $30, $40, $50 a day an extra just to entice people to come over to this job and leave that job. So now even inside construction companies, you have the worker going, no, I want to work that job. No, that job's close to my house. Plus it gives me per diems. Yeah, it's right now the low level construction worker has a lot of leverage, and the companies really can't do a whole lot because there's a lack of labor, a massive lack of labor right now, and they're benefiting from it. So there's one of the good things. So be careful. I hope Sherrod Brown is a little. I mean, you start railing on canceling data centers, and there's going to be a whole lot of union workers going, no data center. Where am I working now?
Where would I be working?
Where's my job at? So, but I mean, the pros, to me, the biggest pro is we're actually paying attention to our in energy infrastructure, which I don't think we've taken seriously for decades as far as the capacity and all this other stuff. We've been shutting down. We shut down the last 10 years, and just in Northern Ohio, 5 power plants,
right?
Coal plants and one nuke plant.
Mm-hmm.
And in Minnesota, this is what I was like. In Minnesota, they're going to shut down. They're going to shut down both nuke plants. I think they're keeping one open, from what I understand. But the 3 Mile Island, they're firing it back up again. Microsoft is.
Right.
So that's that. I don't think they're all bad. I think there's plenty of good things. I think all these solutions can be solved. I think the noise one's going to be the hardest.
I think they should all be built next to the highway.
Yes. Yes, maybe, but you're still gonna have people on the, no matter where you build these.
They're already living next to the highway.
True. But I think you need to eliminate that noise. They need to bring those fans indoors, enclose them in some ways. There are solutions that are not. You're not going to spend billions of dollars in a data center making it a little quieter. So I think that's the solution, but I think that's the last one to be done if it ever gets done because of the lack of people that it actually affects. So. I don't know. I'm not for banning all of them, but I'm also not for. I think the speed and the amount of them is shocking to me. Pump the brakes a little bit, people.
Yep. China's going to take over.
Well, yes. And it is ironic that we're bitching about data centers while using a data center. So I do see the irony in all that. Like Ben was saying, hey, I'm going to complain about these data centers.
Yeah, but I can have that same power at home off my own computer.
Yeah, but not a data center. I mean, everybody's using a data center every day.
Yeah.
Everything you do goes through a data center. Everything. Just how it works. It's how the internet works. It's a series of tubes, Tom. But yeah, I mean, most of these are AI data centers. So to your point. Yeah, I do. I do enjoy the pictures I get of, some of the guys on the construction site are taking pictures of their coworkers and running them through ChatGPT. It's quite entertaining. It's quite entertaining what they're able to do. I'm like, well, good thing we did all this data center work so you can do that.
Billions just to show Bobby bending over with something up his butt.
Yes. Okay, so finally, last thing, we'll wrap it up with, we'll get back to our good things segment. Oh, wait, I can pull. Yes. We bring good things to life. It's been a minute. What do we got in the good things segment? Well, August is coming into an end. And, that's a bunch of crap because summer's over. But what comes off after summer? Oktoberfest. So here's the Channel 3 WKYC news story. Cleveland Oktoberfest to return for two weekends in September. So they're looking at September 4th through the 7th and September 11th through the 12th. And it'll be at the Cuyahoga County Fairgrounds. And, they're going to have beer and sausage. I mean, what else do you want at Oktoberfest? Beer and sausage, maybe some live entertainment.
Oh, yeah, they got a Bavarian shopping village, international pavilion, art market, and wine and spirits garden, classic car show.
Oh, cool. I mean, they've got first-time food vendors for the Oktoberfest. Pierogies are us.
No kidding, for Oktoberfest?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
As long as the weather is a little cool, it'd be okay. The Guten truck. Guten. The Great Steak and Hoagies, Rust Belt Flatbreads, and Dank Dips House. A dedicated non-alcoholic bar service. What? Oktoberfest. German. Got a
What
drink.
was that?
There's a non-alcoholic section they're going to have.
Oh, dear.
A dedicated
Lord.
non-alcoholic bar serving NA beer and wine.
Shut it down.
Yes. Amy Acton is not a fan. Mocktails and specialty sodas will also be included. New entertainment acts like Morgan Wallen, a tribute act, Fleetwood Mac cover band, and also as well as Old School, Tricky Dick and the Cover-Ups, Johnny Koenig and the River Maps, and DJ Kishka.
Kishka.
Sounds like a
Kishka.
Polish fest.
DJ Kishka, maybe.
Yeah, Kishka. Yeah, you're right, Kishka.
Is that a polka thing?
Might be.
DJ Kishka. I don't know.
Sounds a bit ethnic. So check it out.
Who stole DJ Kishka?
Who stole the totally, I know. I love that song. It's one of my favorites. That's the only one I know. So
I don't think that's what Kishka is. But
no, I don't think so. I think it's like some
Kishka.
Kishka. So again, Oktoberfest, Cuyahoga County Fairgrounds, September 4th through the 7th, 11th through the 12th. So you got 2 weekends. And this time we gave you plenty of advance notice so you can plan for it. Usually we're letting you know after.
You know what? They don't post this stuff
I know.
until like
Usually
we're already.
Yeah, usually they'll post this on September 3rd.
Yeah.
Oh, what's happening this weekend? Oh, can you give me more than a day?
Yeah, we record on a
doing
Saturday.
show.
We record on a Saturday, so it's hard, and it released on Monday, so it's hard to find stuff that they posted for the week after.
Yeah.
This one gives you a little heads up.
A little bit. It has to do with eating
and beer.
Eating and beer. Yeah. What better things? You got anything else, Tom?
Nope. Oh, I did look up what tar blutter was.
Okay, good. What is it? It's very important.
Tar blutter was the nickname they gave the railroad workers because they were they had tar on them and it looked like they were bleeding tar.
Yeah, because I think they use tar on all the
on the railroad. Yeah, that's how they kept them from rotting. Yeah. So that's what it stood for, like perseverance, hard work, and something else. So there's an actual thing for it.
Good, that's good. Because I was hoping it wasn't some slur, some racial slur from a rap song or something.
No, it's for the railroad workers.
Good. They got a good teams usually. So.
Well, you know what? I did find out. I got notice here during our show because they were talking about the Glenville Massillon thing, and I said I think Glenville's going to kick your ass because they're massive. Their team is always like. I remember when I went to high school, the Glenville's smallest guy was bigger than our biggest guy.
Yeah,
it was always like that. Anyways, Massillon did win.
Oh,
so Glenville lost to Massillon yesterday.
Okay, well now you have it.
The Tar Blooders lose.
Now we can end the show comfortably. Okay. Well, I guess on that happy note, we thank you for listening. And if you made it all this way, thank you very much. Please share the show with your friends, your family. We really appreciate it helping us grow. Check out crookedrivercast.com for the blog every Monday when the show drops, and send us your feedback. Let us know what you want us to cover, deep dives and all that. crookedrivercast@gmail.com. And on that happy note, as always, we will talk to you next week.
Peace.